All right, so the way we interact with the world, right? So I want you to kind of brainstorm. I want you to think. If we had more students, I would have you guys turn to your shoulder partner, or maybe even put you in small groups to discuss this. But I want you to think of the ways that we interact with the world. There's something that we call senses. I don't know if you're familiar with senses or not, but there's 5 major senses in the way we interact with the world. I want you to kind of brainstorm, try to come up with them if you can. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, and I'm going to be your proxy partner. So pretend I'm just a regular, really tall 4th grade student, all right? And we're going to talk about it. So what do you think? Can you think of all the 5 senses? I can think of 2 senses right off the top of my head, but I'm not positive. What do you think?
I know 2.
What are your 2?
Senses like touch and
Okay, touch was one of mine. Okay, what else you got?
hearing.
Hearing. Okay, sight. I know I can see things, right? What else do you got? So we got. Let's write them down. Because I'm gonna forget them. All right. So you said touch, right? Touch. Here you write them. And then I said sight. And I think you said hearing, didn't you? Okay, so the teacher said that there was 5, so we got 3. So we got hearing, we got sight, we got touch. What else is there? 2 more. Think any more?
Smell.
Smell's one. Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely smell.
I don't know if I spelled it wrong.
No, you're fine. This isn't spelling class, it's science class. What else we got? You got any more? All right, now pretend I'm the teacher again. All right, time. All right, so you guys had some time to talk about it, to think about it, to brainstorm a little bit, get your brains moving in the right direction, right? So what I want to do is we're going to share out, and if I had the whiteboard right here, we'd have the smart board or whatever, and I start writing your guys' answers down. But I would be calling on students, but since there's just me and you, I'm going to look at what we wrote. All right, so we have touch, right? We have sight, good. We got hearing, good. We got smell, and we're missing one. So I'm going to kind of give you a hint. I want you to try to figure this out on your own. But what are you doing to me right now? How are you experiencing the words that I'm saying? Hearing, right? They're coming through your ears. So that's our final one. That's our 5th sense. So you want to go ahead and write down hearing?
We have hearing.
We have hearing? We have hearing, smell.
I think it's like, I don't know.
Oh, I know it. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yeah. What do you like to eat?
Oh, mouth.
What do you do with your tongue? You know, when you eat this food,
Talk.
it tastes pretty good, right?
Taste?
So taste is the other one. Taste. Okay, yeah. I knew we were missing one. I don't know why I thought it was hearing. You said hearing right away. But we got it. So we got taste, right? So when we experience the world, when we receive sensations, what's happening? So when we taste something, or when we smell something, or when we hear, what's actually happening biologically inside of us? So when you come home from a hard day at school or at work or whatever, right? And mom or dad maybe is cooking dinner, and you come in and you smell it. You know, you walk through the door and you can smell it right away, and it smells good. What's happening? And what usually happens after you smell something good?
Makes me want to eat it.
It makes you want to eat it, right? So our brains do something really special when we receive senses, especially smell. Smell's a really neat one. So you smell something, right? And goes through your olfactory system up into your brain. Your brain sends receptors to your mouth, and you kind of salivate a little bit. You know, you drool a little. And what that's doing is it's preparing your body to eat. When you smell something, your brain's saying, all right, we're going to eat pretty soon. So when you start to drool, that's actually putting compounds in your mouth to help break down the food when you eat it. It's crazy. So all of our senses do that, though. All of our senses have this interaction to where we receive this input some way. We feel something, we smell it, we taste it, we hear it, and it sends signals to our brain, and our brain tells us what to do after that, right? So we've got senses, and I'm going to have you predict through this little sensory competition. All right, I'm going to show you 2 pictures of different animals, and I want you to predict which one has the really good sense, whatever the sense is, and the really bad, whatever the sense is, right? So this is going to make sense. I have it color coded. I have a little more instructions for you. But here we go. You ready? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Dad, you in on this?
Okay.
You in? Okay. All right, so one of the animals has exceptionally strong abilities in whatever our topic sense is. The other one has pretty dang weak abilities, okay? And I want you guys to predict which one. I'm going to give you some time to think about it, to talk about it a little bit, and then I'll come to you. You'll write down your answer, either number 1 or number 2, and I'll reveal the actual answer. All right? Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you'll notice this is going to be our color coding. When you see this color, it's going to be smell. This color is going to be hearing, sight, touch, and taste. All right? We ready? Here we go. Number 1, smell. So number 1, you have the orca. Some people call it the killer whale. Now, one of the biggest, it's not the biggest, but one of the most fierce mammal predators in the ocean. All right? Number 2, you got an African elephant. But really, I'm just kind of going with a general whale versus elephant. All right? Which one do you guys think has really strong smell? Which one do you think has really weak smell? And just as a preface, I did throw some trick questions in here, so I'm going to see what you guys can do. Go ahead and talk about it with your partner.
What do you think, man? Who do you think has a better sense of smell?
Probably elephant.
Elephant?
Or
I think the whale.
yeah, which I think. Or
What do you think the elephant?
as a longer one.
Well, I think the whale because it's a predator, so it has to smell its prey, and like, blood in the ocean and things like that. What do you think? What do you want to go with, the elephant or? I think the elephant. Look at his ears. Or it has a better sense of hearing.
Yeah, 10 seconds. 10 seconds to make a decision.
Okay,
What do you want to go with? The whale?
Yeah, I
All right,
think
we'll
so.
go with the killer whale. So right then.
All right, so write down a big number 1. All right, so this is when I would have all the students turn their little whiteboard over, hold it over their head so I can see, get a sense of what everybody's answer is. So what your guys' prediction is the killer whale has the better sense of smell, right?
Yeah.
You guys are wrong. All right,
You're right.
So-
It's because it's longer.
I really like Jose Jr.'s response. You look at, physiologically, you look at these two animals. One has a huge nose, right? One's got a big nose, it's got a big long nose, and you would think that there's a lot of sensory receptors in that, right? Now, what Dad said makes a lot of sense too. You've got a predator, and predators usually hunt based off of smell. But one of the things that's really unique about the orca is that it's a mammal. It's a mammal, it hunts in the ocean, right? So being a mammal, it has to breathe air, right? It's got that big hole on the back, a porthole to where that it comes up and breathes air, right? Smell has a lot to do with breathing. So when this guy's underwater where he would usually hunt, he can't smell because he can't breathe. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys? So if he was to smell underwater where he really would need to smell, he would drown because he's breathing in water. Now, I didn't include him on the slideshow, but let's flip this to a shark, another predator that lives in the ocean. Does he have to come up to breathe, or can he breathe water? All right, so you guys are 1-on-1. We ready for the next one? Okay, hearing. On the left, you've got an octopus. On the right, you've got a bat.
I already know.
You already know which one's your guess.
The bat.
Yeah, why?
It has bigger ears, and I read a book about it.
Oh, prior knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, so I'm not even going to give you guys a ton of time on that one because Jose's on it. And you're right. So you look at these, right? Those things have to be built to receive senses. And I'm sure through your book that you read about echolocation, they can almost see with their ears. Their hearing is so good. One of the best hearing of any creature on the planet, where octopuses have almost no hearing, which is it's really surprising to me. One of the things that I tried to kind of make sense of it for myself, though, is that they're underwater, and you don't hear as well underwater, right? If me and you were in a pool, and I went and shouted Jose, you wouldn't hear it as good as if we were on land, right? Because there's some suppression in the sound traveling through water. So it kind of makes sense. What we're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, because if you think about this, how do we identify things most of the time? What's the first thing that we do to identify something?
Sight.
We look at it, right? And it makes it really easy. So if I say, Jose, what's this? You can look at it right away. You know what it is.
Pencil.
So if you had your eyes closed and I said, Jose, what's this? You would have to use your other senses, right? You'd have to kind of feel it maybe. Maybe it would smell like something, I don't know. But you'd have to use these other senses, right? We rely so much on our sight. So through this exercise, I'm going to have you close your eyes, because if I don't, You're gonna know everything right away. All right.
Mhm.
All right, Jose. Number one. You ready?
Mhm.
Eyes closed. No peeking. All right. All right. So first, I'm gonna have you use your sense of smell. Okay. So gonna be our first one. You ready? Smell. Smell anything?
Mm.
You do. Okay. Good. Now I want you to store that in your mind, right?
I don't know.
It's all right. You don't have to know yet. All right. Now I want you to put your palm out. All right. We're gonna do a little feel of this. All right.
What is it's wet.
Okay. Good. I like use these descriptors. You can use both hands. We'll get you a napkin. Now I want you to go through each of these. Anything that you can remember about it, I want you to write it down. Some type of descriptor. Okay. So number one, what does it smell like? What does it smell like?
Toothpaste.
Okay. Write it down. Toothpaste. All right. You ready to see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's lemon paste.
Oh.
All right, so this is stuff that you use to, like, if you're baking cookies or muffins or something like that, and you want a lemony flavor, that's what it is. Sound.
Mm.
Okay. You ready to make a prediction?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is?
Clock.
Okay, you got it. It's a little clock. Feel?
Okay.
All right, taste. Last one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Eyes closed. Okay, first. Smell.
Can't smell anything.
Okay. Taste.
I can't taste anything.
Okay. Feel.
Nothing.
Okay, sound.
I can't do it.
Nothing?
No.
Really?
Did you even give me anything?
I did. I promise I did. What's your prediction? You have a prediction?
Air.
Air. Okay, so it is actually something. I'm going to allow you to use your identity of sight this time. So keep your eyes open. Ready?
A flashlight.
So it's the beam of the light.
I
Right?
couldn't.
So obviously you can't taste this thing. You can't touch it. You can't
feel
smell it, and you can't hear it, but you can definitely see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you did pretty dang good. I got to admit, I'm impressed. Vocabulary words for this: stimulus or stimuli, sensory receptors, and sensory adaptation. So the stimulus is anything that causes us to do something. All right. So a smell. If I go boo and scare you, and you kind of jump back, that's a stimulus. Anything that causes a reaction. All right. The next thing that we're gonna do. And if we had a full class, it'd be a little bit different. I would have categories, but I would tell you guys to research an animal of your choice, and I want you to determine how they receive these senses. It would try to figure it out by feeling it. I think it would like hit it with its nose, feel it with its nose a little bit.
The sharks it's because like sharks, they bite down to feel stuff. Like nibble a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. So a bear might do that too. And so, last thing, I want you to put your artistic talents into play. I want you to draw me. It can be your animal of choice. It could be the bear, or it could be any other animal you want. But what you're going to do is you're going to diagram this thing. I'm going to show you an example. All right. Now, for each one of these, I want you to. We can just talk about it if you want, but I want you to give me a potential stimulus or stimuli that a shark would either hear, smell, see, feel, or taste, and then how they would react. So, I want to relate this kind of to the big picture. All animals are like this, right? All animals take in senses just like us, but they rely more heavily on them because either they're hunters or they're hunted. So they either need to get food to survive, or they need to not be food to survive. All right? So, last thing on it is, I want you really to walk away from this realizing that animals take in senses just like us. They have sensory receptors on different parts of their body, They take in a signal, goes to their brain, and then their brain tells them to react in whatever appropriate way, right? So they either go hunt, or they go run, or they go do whatever. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man, thanks. This was awesome.